Hi, I'm Information Officer Mike DeFries here on the Cameron Peak Fire. And as part of our effort to share with you a little bit more about how our organization works and an incident management team, how it works, I wanted to do a little story today to share with you one important piece of the incident management team that doesn't necessarily get a lot of attention from the public, but it is very, very crucial to a lot of stakeholders on the fire. And that is the liaison officer. So today we're bringing in a real live liaison officer, our liaison officer, one of ours, Shawnee Hinman. And I'm going to step behind the camera here, but Shawnee is going to take some time and share with us a little bit about his world and how things work. So how are you, Shawnee?
I'm doing great, thanks, Mike. Yeah, I'm Shawnee Hinman, and I'm a liaison officer on the Cameron Peak Fire. And one of the big reasons the liaison officer is here is to help bring people together and provide information flow. And so, Mike, by definition, a liaison officer is a person who forms a working relationship between two parties. But when we look at the map and we have a landscape that is this big, over 200,000 acres, the Cameron Peak Fire, there are so many different stakeholders that we work with. We have national forest, we have state land, county land, city land, we have national park, and we have various other jurisdictions and utilities that are all stakeholders on the incident. And so a liaison officer really helps to come in and be a conduit and a funnel to help bring information down to one point of contact for both the public and the other stakeholders, and then also the incident management team and the people in the team to help our information get out to those stakeholders in a concise way.
So we're public information officers, that's what I am, and then our team is. And so someone watching this today may know us fairly well. You've got information requirements, but you have to get other things done. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'd say compared to an information officer, we're a little bit more behind the scenes. And I think we take on a lot of really specific questions and answers that come up as the incident goes on. And a good example of that is, since we have firefighting resources on the ground throughout the entire incident area, we're able to provide information both to, say, a utility company. If we notice a power line's down, we can contact them, let them know where it is, and they can get resources out. Or if we have something that we have a question for the utility company, the team can come to me and I can reach out to that company.
And that did just happen, right? Wasn't there a power line, something where you were involved just recently?
Yeah, exactly. So we did have a crew that found a line, and the bottom line is, as a liaison officer, I don't necessarily do the work. I need to just connect the correct parties together and make sure everybody's in the loop. And so what I did was reached out to that company, actually multiple companies, and then one responded and said, "Yep, that's our line, and we'll go dispatch a crew right now to go take care of it." And then I relay that information back to the team that we have somebody taking care of it.
So you've got, obviously, that's public safety involved with something like that. Also, there have been a lot of evacuations. There are none anymore on this fire. But as a liaison officer, you're tied in, I'm assuming, also with the sheriff's department and perhaps with shelters and other organizations, again, so everyone's tied together to serve the public.
Yeah, that's right. And if you think about, again, the large scope and scale of this type of incident, you can imagine any number of scenarios where we might need to be coordinating, one with like the Red Cross and those evacuees. Since our team comes in, we have a lot of resources that are going out and doing work, but at the same time, we want to be able to be sensitive to the needs of the Red Cross and certain groups. Or if we're doing suppression repair work, for instance, we have multiple lines that we use to put in suppression up here. We might have a crew up on a county road, and the county road might be getting a little busier after the fire closures lifted. So I might reach out to that county road department and ask if they can do a temporary road closure while our crew has heavy equipment in there. And that's for the safety of our firefighters, but also for the safety of the public.
And that was me, obviously, moving the camera. We do have such a huge fire, it's hard to even show everything. But up north, of course, there's all kinds of suppression repair being done. I'll attempt that again, but way up north, that's where we're doing lots of work with suppression repair. And it's not all on public lands as well, and we're talking public and private that is, those are two different worlds when it comes to land ownership, and a liaison officer has to be smart and understand both in order to make sure the incident management team is serving, correct?
Yeah, and I think a good way to put that is when we have such a large incident, we try to make all of our products a certain standard so that we're all using the same information. So when we have suppression repair work, the team works with the local, either National Forest or National Park or other entities, to develop a suppression repair plan. And so since that is a federal entity, there might be a little bit different rules and regulations on the state or private property. And so then we coordinate with that state group or the county for the private land to give them an idea of what our suppression repair standards are. And then they can work with their local stakeholders and the public for them to move forward if they want to have the repair work done to those standards. And since we're a little bit different, we have the opportunity to both share our way of doing it and provide feedback for them if they want to make their own tweaks to that plan.
That's really great. And last question for you is, how did you become one, and why are you a liaison officer?
You know, I think being in the incident management team world on these big fire incidents has been something I've been doing for several years. I actually started as a resource advisor doing some of that advising while they're doing fire suppression and just making sure where the firefighters are doing work and putting in hand lines and dozer lines, making sure they're putting those in the right places. And so this is an assignment that I was invited to be a liaison to specifically with the resource advisor crew. And so it's my first assignment as a liaison officer, but the role is to really help coordinate that resource advisor work. And in this stage of the fire, a lot of that coordination has been with the Larimer County and the private landholders that had some of that suppression activity damage, and then also with the national park when we were still helping manage the Thompson zone of that fire. And so the bottom line is I was invited, and it's my first time, and I'm really enjoying it because at the end of the day, you realize how important it is to provide, again, that conduit for information, be that funnel, help that information get to the right place, and then go the other direction as well and make sure we're getting all the information out to all our stakeholders in a concise, meaningful way.
Well, that's great, and we appreciate you helping and reach out with the public as well, and in this case, to just share a little bit about how your world works, Shawnee. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.